All right, good evening. Call this meeting of the Comal School District order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. It is a little bit different. We'll let you know that we do have all 7 board trustees may not be here present with us, but we do have them via Zoom. We have Michelle Ross, Dr. Marty Bartlett, looking for him right now, where is he at? And Dr. Denise Kern. So again, we do have not only a full quorum of 4 of us here, but we have a full trustee meeting this evening. So, and we will open this meeting like we do all other meetings. We'll ask Mr. Miller to lead us in prayer and pledges. And we know it might be a few seconds delayed, so those of you that are with us on Zoom, we'll give you all a couple of minutes, okay? For a couple of seconds. So.
All right. Check. Good. All right, y'all would bow with me. Let's pray. Father God, thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. Thank you for your daily strength and guidance. In times like these, it is where your light shines brightest. I pray that we all are a light to the world in your honor, to the world in every way and in every opportunity. Father God, we pray for your strength, love, and peace. Please be with all our students, teachers, administrators, and leaders in these unprecedented times for our current generation. I pray that you watch over everybody and you give them the strength that they need. In Philippians 4:7, Father God, you tell us, we know that you are the peace that will surpass all understanding and will guide our hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. I pray that we all lean on you in these times. Please keep us healthy and wise, calm, as we navigate these uncharted waters. All these things we ask through our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the Texas flag.
One state, under God, one
and indivisible.
I hope we were looking the right way.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Appreciate that.
They need to know that whoever speaks, the camera goes to, I think. I don't know why it's on Marty, but by default. Yeah, last minute talk.
Okay. So first on the agenda will be board president comments, and really just keeping it brief. First and foremost, I want to just really tip our hat and say thank you to Mr. Kim and the job that staff has done, not only here within central office, but as well as the principals and teachers, trying to accommodate, keep children, as engaged as possible throughout this ordeal. And really, as I've been around all the counties that we serve, it's very evident that a lot of people depend on Comal ISD for leadership. It's not just New Braunfels proper. It's really all the 589 square miles that we go to, everywhere I run into. Been trying to keep my distance from people and stuff, but like everybody else, we have been trying to get a few groceries here and there, and still trying to keep up with the work. And everywhere I go, if I see a teacher, I get texts from teachers that say that they really appreciate the job that we as a board are doing, but what they really don't understand is we as a board are just kind of letting everybody do what needs to be done and professionals handle it. And so, Mr. Kim, with that, again, you and your staff have done a phenomenal job, and we are grateful to you for that. And need to make sure that that's communicated to all of your people out there, because again, it's very trying times. Trying to keep everything to a group of 10 or less, 6 feet of spacing. I think in here we've got about a good 20 feet of spacing for the support staff. But again, we appreciate the job, and more importantly than the job that y'all are doing, it's the leadership. We appreciate that. So, and then trustees that are not here with us, Dr. Kern, Dr. Bartlett, and Ms. Ross. Again, we appreciate the understanding of you guys too, and being willing to stay in the comfort of your house this evening, and just helping us make sure that we get through the meeting as way I know that we can as we operate a normal meeting. We will try to go not quickly through the meeting. I know there's a lot of information, but we're going to try to stay on topic. And for those of you that are joining us on Zoom again, we'll try to be a little bit delayed here as we go through, questions, comments, and statements, because no matter if you're here in person or, again, via Zoom, every comment we want to make sure y'all are heard, okay? So with that, we will move forward. I don't believe there's any public comment, so that's a good thing this evening. Just keep everybody at 10 and less. So we'll just jump right into superintendent reports and board information. Bilingual ESL summer school schedule. Again, this is a report only, and I guess it is Mr. Andrew Kim.
First of all, thank you very much, and I'll echo the fact that we've had some tremendous guys here at Support Services, and certainly our principals have done a great job. What we all agreed on is the continuity of communication. In a crisis such as this, we've been very thoughtful to make sure that there is coordinated efforts and communication to our parents, our teachers. I will tell you that we've had a tremendous amount of teachers emailing back, letting us know how appreciative they are about. I didn't realize also that we certainly have just become the life source of the information for a lot of our folks in our school district. And so that's a lot of folks. We're the largest employer in this area, so it's been fantastic in that regard. Board members, I'm going to talk a little bit more about all of the current conditions. I think that's probably where we want to talk about more so than anything else. And to be quite honest, as a result of that, we just haven't had too much time to prepare for any of this information. We've not that this is not like we just threw it up there, but it is report only. So it is for you to read and perhaps have questions later on down the road. So I'm not going to address any one of these on here. Some of these things that are on here, by the way, Dr. Park, can you hear me okay over there? Would you mind just letting me know if you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I cannot see anything if you're presenting anything.
No, we're not. Unfortunately, the camera, we don't have a camera system that you can see us. You can see you, but you can't see us.
Okay.
But some of these items potentially could change. So, for example, I'll quickly go over those. The bilingual ESL summer school schedule is an annual thing that the board does, and we present that. TEA, or the state of Texas, we have a mandate to provide bilingual education during summertime. This could be completely, we will have different potential timelines depending on the current circumstance that we have in place. The instructional materials proclamation is for the year 2021 to ELA adoption. These are new books, new textbooks in the state of Texas related to the English language arts. As far as we know, it's still on its the same schedule. The TEA right now is so busy. In fact, the commissioner is the only one that is actually in the building. Everybody is working from home at TEA. So that remains to be seen how that goes. We have reported here the fourth quarter housing demographic report. That could change dramatically. So right now, this is a report prior to COVID-19. So I will tell you right now, take it for what it is. I will tell you what I've done though, is set up a weekly call-in started last week with our developers, our major developers in our area. I think many of you know who those are. And we've had a lengthy phone call Friday. We're going to have one this coming Friday. There's a mixed bag of feedback on the housing market currently. Everybody wants to wait and see. They do think though that this is not similar to what occurred in 2008, 2009 with the mortgage crisis. But they do feel confident about future. The short term is what's the unknown at this particular time. The active plan procurement, this is typically would be done by Catherine Yonda, and she is on the call, or was earlier, if you have any potential questions about that. Number 3 is the emergency purchase notification of Chromebooks. We ordered already 400 additional Chromebooks that they are en route. So we are to receive those sometime by the end of the week is what our estimated time. We currently have commandeered close to about 500 electronic devices from campuses, and we're collecting more to be issued out. In fact, our first issuance of these devices is tomorrow. that we will be putting out there. So the emergency purchase notification is the additional Chromebooks that we purchased that are on this route. We've also purchased 100 Mi-Fi units for students who are needing those and parents or families that are needing those. We sent out a phone call list to 3,700 parents yesterday. We have already had responses from several wanting these devices to pick up. They're mainly being picked up at 3 of our sites that is associated with our student meal program sites at Mount Elementary School, at Kinder Range Elementary campus, and at Goodwin Fraser Elementary campus.
Is that how you're gonna distribute computers too?
Those are the 3 sites. We have 10 sites of the food distribution.
Right.
But we have enough personnel to do the technology devices. We're only relegated to 3 sites.
That was Mount Valley? What?
Mount Elementary School, Goodwin Fraser Elementary campus, and Kinder Range Elementary campus. The parent student handbook and student code of conduct is a manual for you to look at. Certainly we'll bring that back at a later time. Co-location school of choice name, that's just a process. All that is a board process for naming schools that we want you to be thoughtful about. And then we do have item number 6 on B6 bond 2020 election. So this is what I can report to you is this. The governor of Texas has given authority now to local election offices to either cancel or postpone elections. The governor has now come out with sweeping changes other than eliminating the primary election coming up, or the runoff election time. Comal County, who is our provider of election, they own the machine, they own the process. They've informed us that they will not provide as a service to us in the upcoming May election. Now, I talked to the county judge and asked him to hold off on that decision. He's willing to look at that, meaning that we can wait as close to possible of the early voting election, which is April 20th, to make that decision. So right now, the decision, it's a sort of stay in place at this time. We can, if we decide that this thing is prolonging and we don't see an avenue for us to go for a May election, just by the default of not having resources available to us, because we don't own machines, then we're going to need to come together as a board, at least a quorum of the board, sometime prior to April 20th, to cancel or postpone the election. Now I'm going to show you the difference from a legal stance. If you postpone it, then you can only postpone it to back down. Oh. If you postpone the election, then we have to postpone it to November upcoming 2020 election. If you cancel, then you can cancel it and you can bring it back on November or May 2021, whenever you want to. So that's a discussion that we're going to need to have at some point. I will suggest that we do that down the road. I would think right now it's a little premature to perhaps cross that. I don't know. But certainly a little discussion there, Mr. President, on this topic. Perhaps, I don't know if that's what you're going to do, but I want to let you know what the process is currently at this particular time.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. And I know that board members that obviously are not present, because I can't see all 3 of y'all, but Mr. Kim's going through rather quickly, and I appreciate that. But were there any other questions with anything backing up? I know Dr. Bartlett is normally the one that loves having Ms. Yonda on the active plan procurement. So, Dr. Bartlett, are you good with everything thus far up to the bond 2020 discussion?
Yeah, I did not have any questions for Ms. Yonda today. I read through all the procurement stuff in detail, and she gets a free pass.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Kern, how about you thus far?
I have, Mr. Kim answered my questions about the emergency purchase of the Chromebooks.
Okay.
But I like the information that we received about postponing or canceling the election. I think with this whole COVID virus stuff, I think it would behoove us to see what it does to the economy before we go out for a bond. because I think if we go out for a bond asking for money and we are in a deep, deep hole economically, I think we're going to look like fools. So, or misers or something. And that is not what we want to look like. The other part is this COVID virus thing is preventing groups, large groups from meeting. Our big event center is for big events, which are all banned right now. So I think we would be smart just to either postpone or cancel. I would vote for the one that gives us the most leeway. So if it's cancel and then we can bring it back up in November and or May of 21, it seems like that would give us more flexibility. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. And Mrs. Ross, so far, you have any-
I just wanted to address the devices. Do you think, Mr. Kim, that we have enough to service the children that need them, even with this purchase?
Great question. It's, I'll admit to you right now that we don't have a great idea about who needs what. What we're finding out, the problem is that some of our rural areas, I'm gonna say Canyon Lake area, the northern portion of our school district, the internet accessibility is really horrible. So the problem also lies with Ms. Ross and board members with our teachers. So some of our teachers who are living in various places are also having a hard time getting on access. The other issue we're finding out, board members, is that because of the stay-at-home work order from San Antonio, and 60%, I don't know if you know this, I got this from the Chamber of Commerce, 60% of folks who live here, reside in New Braunfels, work in San Antonio. Because they're now having to stay at home to work, they're now using the laptops. As a result of that, their children are not able to use a laptop. And so unless you have multiple devices at home, and how do we know that? Difficult. I think Ms. Ross will have a better number for you. Well, what I've informed Travis Brown and the technology team is to constantly commandeer. Right now, we're still commandeering an additional 500 from campuses. These are older MacBooks that we are re-imaging, disinfecting them, re-imaging them to basically a Chromebook. And we'll be constantly replenishing our stock with the 400 coming in from the outside. We have a total of about 10,000 devices in our district, in our school. We'll have to collect them all, but that's what we are ready to do to make this work.
What's the time frame on that?
Well, we have a very limited skeleton crew going out and, grabbing these. So that's another issue there. So we're looking at another 500 or so here pretty soon. So once again, we'll have about 1,000 or so to work with initially, and then we'll probably keep on adding 200 to 250 or so. Because what we're doing is we're bringing them back here, disinfecting them, re-imaging them, so that they're not functional for other purposes, and then reissuing that as parents and students are wanting those, and we're delivering those. We're also working with communities in school to potentially home deliver some of these things where some parents are having some trouble with transportation issues. So we've done that with food services. Joe McKenna has been working with CIS and working with food services to meet some of those needs. So we have right now a communication loop from our principals to us, making that work at this time. I think I will tell you that my confidence is high when it comes to the devices. I think where I think that we're going to have a problem is the internet accessibility issue, the Wi-Fi issue. So you could have a device, or we can give you one, but the problem is if you don't have the Wi-Fi, we just don't know how to solve that issue. Now, and I've been told right now that we'll have about 1,500 by next Friday, Friday, in terms of device availability to be able to issue out. But the Wi-Fi and the internet accessibility is a problem throughout our whole entire school district. So I think that's going to be the main problem that we have to deal with. And I don't really have an answer on how to solve that issue. We are buying these MiFi from Verizon. I think we have about 50 that came in today. We're paying $40 a month on service for these MiFi devices. They're hotspot devices that we'll be checking them out to the family, one per family, and so on to make that work. I've heard other school districts, allowing kids to come to the parking lots to get onto the school's Wi-Fi. Well, I don't know if that's a good idea. So security, and yeah, they're not going to be able to continue that. So I don't know. There's all kinds of ideas floating out there. So, but we are trying to distribute as many as we can, finding these things out. I've asked Travis Brown and Michael McCullough to get in contact with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, on perhaps even purchasing some of their also available devices. But all the providers have told us that right now the supply has run out. And so that's another problem.
How many buses do we have that have Wi-Fi?
Well, great question. We've actually looked at this for a while. We just have not retrofitted our buses for Wi-Fi capabilities. That is a huge cost to do so. But we are looking at potentially a Wi-Fi tower located in some of our buses in dense areas. The other challenge, Dr. Kern, is that our communities are not densely populated.
Right.
So even if you were to have a tower, it's only about a 300 feet radius from a bus. So you're going to have to get really close to that bus in order for you to access the Wi-Fi network. And with the state at home or in place, at least in the city of New Braunfels, that gets to be, I think, a challenging aspect. And once again, trying to get out to the rural areas of our district is going to be the challenge of getting Wi-Fi service.
Okay.
Yep, you're right. It's going to be challenging.
Okay. And I know board members are present. Everybody good thus far up to the bond discussion? And Dr. Bartlett, I'll circle back with you. Okay. So then when we do discuss where we're at right now with bond 2020 discussion, what Mr. Kim told us as far as April 20th and trying to make a decision what we feel is in the best interest of all of Comal ISD by then. I definitely feel that we will need to have a workshop early April, even if the setting looks very similar to what we have right now. But I definitely think that we need more opportunity to get more information on what does that really truly look like. I know that Mr. McCullough hasn't had any time to look at it. Mr. Stanford hasn't had any time. So board members, that's really where I would be. Again, I'll come back to you, Dr. Bartlett. Do you have any questions or clarification for, postponing or canceling bond 2020?
No, I mean, I think, we really don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks. We've got the president and lieutenant governor saying we want to get people back to work by Easter. I don't know if there's any reality in that or not. If it was, then, a May election might still make sense depending on the speed at which some of that could occur. So I think one of your first comments was, or maybe it was Andrew's comment, that we should be ready to make a decision by mid to late April. And I think that still makes sense that we need to be somewhere on that time frame. And so a workshop along those lines seems good. Yeah, I think it would be hard to make any decision now, knowing very little of what's going to happen.
Okay, thank you. And again, when Mr. Kim was talking about he visited with Judge Krause, it was definitely needed a couple more weeks to look at it from, basically, I guess, yesterday or maybe even Friday of last week. So again, if we need to have a mid, I don't know what the date would be, but a workshop, we have nothing else going on. So after Good Friday.
Tuesday after Good Friday.
Okay.
That'll be April the 14th, maybe 15th.
Okay. Yeah. So it's definitely the 14th would be a Tuesday, the 15th would be a Wednesday. So we'll try to get something on calendar for that because again, Dr. Bartlett, like you said, the information is just not really there yet.
we have to make a
Have a
decision.
wait and see. And we have to make a decision by the 20th,
Before the 20th.
before the 20th, okay?
Is the judge waiting on our decision?
No, so that's the, I'm just gonna talk candidly here, board members. The judge and I talked, and he seems very understanding about the situation. But we did get a letter from the county elections office saying that they're gonna not provide a support. So there's two different information that we're getting. So I talked to the judge a couple times about this and just waiting. I told him that if this situation persists, that we certainly understand the fact that no county or election, workers will be available to do to that process. We get that. But why don't we wait as long as we can to make that decision? The law does allow us to wait until really the beginning of the early voting, which is April 20th. So we have to decide prior to that, which would be that week of the 13th through the 17th or so, to make that decision. And I've asked him to see whether or not we can wait on that. New Braunfels has a small election, and New Braunfels ISD has a small election. I convinced them that if they could just wait on us, and they're willing to wait on us, so that we can all, once again, have some continuity on this issue. I just asked the judge to kind of, just to wait as long as we can. But we did get a letter saying that they're not going to service us at this time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Y'all good?
I'm in agreement with that, just to wait.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Then next on the agenda would be consideration and possible approval of consent agenda.
Mr. President,
Mr. Gerstein.
can't get my microphone. That's all right. I want to pull item E. I got it to work, I think. There's a green light now, Lynn.
Yeah.
Green light's working.
You're there.
Mr. President,
Okay, Mr. Gerstein.
I move to approve consent agenda items A through G, exception E.
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. We'll have discussion on item E after the vote, right?
Yes.
Okay, so motion made and second. All in favor? And there we go. Okay, motion carries 7-0. Mr. Gerstein.
All right, the only thing I wanted to bring up on here, a great question. I think that scoreboard that they're wanting to replace is about 7 years old, 8 years old, Mr. Kim. Not much older than that. Anyway, is it still in good enough shape where it could potentially be relocated to Canyon Lake High School and be at their stadium?
Sir, I'm going to have to ask that question. And we have not, I have not done a good job of evaluating that, whether or not, because certainly I think reusing an equipment that's really good, so I think would be ideal. So let me go ahead and make that call later on tonight, to see what the situation is on that.
I completely support if they want to get a board up there and the Booster Club's got the money to make it happen. That's fine. They've made money off of it. It's worked like they intended. But I think we've got an opportunity here, board members. As y'all know, once we approve these things, even if they pay for it, it's still the property of the school district. And if it's a good enough board and has long-term usage yet, I would really like to see us, because I don't know, Mr. York, the Lake Booster Club may quite get that point yet where they've got funding. Where they could go out there and do something like that yet. Would they even be interested?
And I have had discussions, and truthfully, the new board president, the Booster Club is very aggressive. And I actually did talk to one of the gentlemen that was one of the people who was the founding person over at Smithson Valley, who really helped get these big video boards kicked off. And I've tried to get the two together, and I will continue to push that. But I do feel that there is an appetite for it out there. I know there's enough local business that would support it.
Well, even if they can't get the advertising, just get
The board's there, yeah.
I think it'd be a great start. Absolutely. It could really, if it could be repurposed after Mr. Kim. Absolutely. And then it could even just, breathe a new breath for the local businesses out there to look and see, hey, we've got a Brookshire, we've got a Sonic, we've got, some businesses up around the corner too. When you go to Spring Branch, we've got the Walmarts, the HEBs and everything out there too. So
I think we're going to get these boards cost neutral to the district, and not.
it has
There
been.
has been, and if there has been, there should be, because these, both our booster here at Canyon and theirs have put enough funding to pay for the upkeep.
That's correct.
So,
Board members, I just want to let you know that I did offer Citizen Valley, in all fairness and equity purposes, the offer will be done with King High School, meaning that we will purchase and they can pay us back. And so I did offer that, but the Booster Club there talked about that. Once again, I didn't want to leave anybody out of the process, but they felt comfortable in going with their own, what they've done in the past. They have local banks that they have a relationship with, and they have gotten security at a very, very low interest rate. So that's how they were wanting to do that. But I did make sure that they will offer the same sort of process that we would offer for every high school that we will take care of, which is what we did at King High School.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Verstein.
move to approve accepting the donation to Smith Valley High School Athletic Booster Club as presented.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is
Page 96.
considering possible approval of TASB update 114. Mr. Kim.
Board members, Mr. Maisi is on the line. If you have any questions with that, but this is your TASB update 114. It's been brought to you in three other occasions by board policy or board guidelines. There are no locally generated policy in regards to this situation. I hope I did Armando Maisi right, but usually he does a better job than me.
He's a little quicker.
He's usually a little quicker about it, but
Mr.
Nice
President,
job. The administration recommends the approval of update 114. And as Mr. Kim stated, there are no district initiated changes. And so at this time, the administration recommends the approval of update 114 as presented.
thank you, Mr. Mayasek. Board members, any discussion on TASB 114? He's wearing a suit. Okay.
Mr. President,
I have a question. I'd like to know if that beard is part of the coronavirus protection system, or is that some other reason?
Well, I'm glad you would ask that because it's been a little conversation around me over here for the last 2 seconds. Mr. Massey, would you care to further explain that? Moving right along. Mr. Miller.
he's trying to see. All right, I move to approve the TASB board policy update 114 as presented. Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Massey. Thank you, Mr. Kim. Next is the consider and possible approval of 2020-2021 food service management contract review.
Board members, this has also been brought to your attention. Mr. McCullough is on the line, so he can go ahead and certainly answer any questions, but this is an extension of the contract with our child nutrition external provider, which is Chartwells. And I gotta tell you, if there's a reason to extend, I think the current situation that we're dealing with, and they're stepping up to the plate to take care of things, I think kind of shows you their commitment to what they want to do and serve the school district and serve our parents and our kids. So they're doing a good job, very good job.
Okay. Thank you, board members. Any discussion on that? Okay. Page 127.
Mr. President,
Mr. Verstein.
move to approve the fourth and final of 4 one-year extensions of RFP 1601 FSMC Chartwells, contingent on TDA approval of the proposal and subsequent contract as presented.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Next is consideration and possible approval of election contract with Comal County Clerk for District's 2020 bond election.
Board members, once again, things are ever changing on this, but we felt that we still need to go ahead and get this approved because what we want to do is ask the county to honor this particular approval by the board at this particular time until we decide to cancel or postpone based upon the current developing situation.
And I spoke to there, apologize. We're also looking at consideration and possible approval of joint election agreements for bond election 2020. So,
And that's with City of New Braunfels as well as MDIST and everybody else will be joined in. And typically that happens to reduce cost.
okay. Board members, that's page 130. Any discussion on that?
No, sir.
Mr. President,
Mr. Hennessy.
I move to approve the joint elections agreement with the cities of Verde, New Braunfels, and Gardner Ridge as presented.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, so now next is the consideration and possible approval of election contract with Comal County Clerk for the district's 2020 bond election. That's page 143.
Mr. President,
Mr. Hennessy.
I move to approve the election contract with Comal County as presented.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, next is discuss and take possible action on the national coronavirus COVID-19 emergency impact on Comal School District campus operation.
Board members, this is a resolution that needs to be adopted by the board in order for us to make sure that we pay employees that fall within the category of auxiliary employees and paraprofessional employees, long-term subs, and other employees within that hourly range area. So once again, this was previously done back during the H1N1 issue back in 2010. Certainly we're coming to you asking for that authority again to make sure that we take care of our employees. Board members, the approximate cost is right now still being calculated. We're still working through some of those. But I will just tell you right now that we are, I don't want to say that we're going to save money, but we are looking at some savings regarding to fuel costs because our buses aren't operating. Our daily substitute costs, obviously we don't have daily subs. So these were already budgeted. We just need to get your authority to go ahead and basically expend what was already budgeted for pay for the entire year. They're not actually clocking in at this time. So we're actually doing that. Within this model, we're not going to be doing any type of overtime pay unless it is necessary at some point with certain staff members. Right now, no overtime commitments at this time.
Okay.
I have a question.
Dr. Bartlett?
So, I like the idea of Andrew having the authority to make those kinds of decisions. But I would wonder, there are a lot of businesses that are sending employees home and not paying them. Is there a precedence that's been set where it doesn't matter what occurs, we pay our employees? Does it look bad to the taxpayers if we have people sitting at home and we are paying them? I mean, I think this warrants at least some discussion.
Great question. I will tell you that legally, if you do not adopt this resolution, then technically, legally, we will not be paying all of our hourly employees because they're not clocking in. And they're at home. Now, the professional employees like myself, teachers, they're on a contractual basis, so we are paying them. I will say that just the optics would be horrible, so they'll be terrible. I think so that's something to consider there. I do think that we struggle with finding employees within that category prior to this situation that we're dealing with currently in our national crisis. So I do think that not paying them probably will have a long-term effect on us in terms of the fact that we're not going to be there for them when the time comes. So I think we do need. Yeah, it will set a precedent that I think Well, we will set a new precedent going forward. Certainly, we set a precedent during the H1N1 time period in 2010 to pay. So I do sense that my recommendation is to go ahead and that we take care of our employees in that regard.
And I can totally understand that, you know, you don't want to lose any of these employees. They're hard enough to get anyway. I just wonder, does it send any message to our taxpayers if we have to send people home for a few months and continue to pay them? I mean, that's why I thought we'd at least want to talk about that.
I think right now the tenor of the voice of board members that I hear from the president, governor, is that we should not be, hurting the issue where if we can go ahead and pay, we ought to do so. And I think, once again, this was budgeted, board members, so it wasn't like we're having to find new dollars. These were budgeted dollars in some sense. We'll probably be saving some dollars here in the overtime costs here and there compared to what we typically would do. So I do once again recommend that. I think once again our employees are waiting for this decision.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Bartlett. Mr. Hennessy?
Mr. President, I too am glad that we're discussing this. I believe that we should be in full support of our sports staff, custodians, bus drivers, et cetera. I have a concern as to how this resolution is worded, however, that we are possibly pigeonholing Mr. Kim into one direction. It states, I'm not sure which paragraph, but that this will be done at the respective normal rates of pay. Would we like to see that a little bit different, giving some leeway to Mr. Kim to possibly not be at a full pay scale schedule, just depending on how long this lasts, basically. In the short term, I'm all for normal rates of pay, but when I look out and think about what if it's still around this summer and things are still not looking very good, not likely, but again, the what ifs, because we don't have great information right now, it changes every 24 hours. I'd like for Mr. Kim to be able to have that ability to not go to a full normal rate of pay.
And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, though, Mr. Kim, that the resolution, we could also come back and we can change it at any given time. We could do another resolution. I know other cities and municipalities have done up to 5, 6, 8, 10. So it is ever changing, and it really just becomes a living, breathing document for us as a board at any given time to change the language and adopt a new. So.
Okay, if it is truly a living, breathing document, then at this time, I'd be more than happy to pass this resolution as it stands, knowing that we can amend if needed.
Okay, absolutely.
And board members, I will tell you that that I do sense that I really appreciate you bringing that up, Mr. Hennessy. I think that we've been talking about those who are serving our students right now in the mornings. We've made sure that they have protective gear, but certainly, causes some concern sometimes about that in terms of, pay. So once again, if we feel though that there is some issues, we'll certainly bring it back to your attention. Other school districts have adopted more of a broader authority for the superintendent. You may have seen that in the newspapers about superintendents getting pretty much a carte blanche authority. We are not asking for that. I'm not asking for that. We'd like to bring it to you as we go, and I think that's what I'm more comfortable with at this time.
Mr. Cristata?
I see it across our nation, really across the globe, businesses, private individuals.
I can't hear him.
Any sector of life, folks that are doing whatever they can of their means to help those that are out of work. And I got to tell you, this would be a decision if we chose not to support it, not to continue to pay them. This would be one of those things that would come back as a black eye that would destroy our credibility, our integrity. We wouldn't recover from it, at least the folks in this room. So I strongly advise board members to support this resolution and continue to show that support for the hard work that our employees are putting out there, and to continue to recognize that this is a crisis that's going to pass, and at some point things will return to normal. For whatever reason, as y'all just acknowledged, it would extend well beyond even the time frames that are out there right now. then we're talking about an entirely new budget cycle.
Right.
So I think we're in safe waters again because all the resources have been allocated. So,
Very good. Okay.
all right.
Mr. President, is there any guidance at all from TEA or TASB on this?
Mr. Kim?
There is not, other than verbal comments about, just taking care of the employees. Certainly, it's at the discretion of the local boards.
Okay, good conversation. Mr. Gerstein?
Mr. President, I move to approve the resolution authorizing payment for staff and support services during the COVID-19 closure.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Okay, next is a resolution by the Board of Trustees, Comal School District, establishing the district's intention to, that was it. Consider and possible approval of resolution for grading policy. Oh, that's
Page
good.
153.
Oh, Lord. A resolution by the Board of Trustees, Comal ISD, establishing the district's intention to reimburse itself for the prior lawful expenditure of funds from the proceeds of tax exempt obligations to be issued by a district for authorized purposes and other matters in connection therewith. Okay. Mr. Kim?
Board members, this is in regards to potential reimbursements. And our bond counsel is on the line. But this is a resolution to reimburse from the bond 22 election on expenses incurred as a result of doing the work for bond 22 ahead of that. Of course, adoption of this and then Kent's potential evolution of what could happen with bond 22 will have a lot of effect. But certainly adopting this election, notice right now will be in state put. If we were to cancel that, we'll have to come back and adopt a separate proposition or a resolution for a future bond to reimburse work that's being done now ahead of that.
Okay. Any discussion on this, board members? Okay, page 153.
Mr. President,
Mr. Miller.
I move to approve the bond 2020 reimbursement resolution as presented.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Okay, next is consider and possible approval of resolution for grading policy.
Board members, this is a resolution, somewhat of a broad resolution at this time to suspend our current local policy in regards to grade, ranking order, GPA calculations. You have a whole bunch of kids and we've been running data. We just extended some additional time to input grades in for the third 9 weeks, which ended Friday prior to spring break. We're collecting that. We're actually looking at data compared to a January rank order to what it would have been, missing assignments, all those things. So we're asking this resolution to suspend the current policy currently just for this year so that we can recalculate based upon what is fair to students. And so we're still working through that. We'll have to bring back more information in terms of what that looks like. But right now, this will give us the way to calculate, at least not go with the current policy that's in place locally.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Board members, any discussion?
This one is a big deal, though. And so y'all will do a great job ironing it out. So you're basically talking about shutting it off currently at the end of the class cycle. Under the assumption that if school resumes, and boy, a lot of what is now. Let's say, for example, though, the school was canceled the rest of the year. You came back in 2 weeks, and that was the consensus throughout the state that we were done. You're basically saying the end of this last grading period would be your final calculation. We're calculating those purposes. You still have to calculate something.
Board members, what we're looking at right now is that currently we calculated the 7th semester of a 4-year grade, right? So when we look at that, we can look at the January grading period for the final calculation and live with that. Typically what we do is we give, especially our top % students, all the way to the end of the year to calculate. That's our current local policy. Well, as you know, we're suspended school As a result of that, we don't have those grades coming in. And in all fairness, we are not taking grades of the work that's going on at home currently because we can't quality control that situation. So as a result of that, we're now looking at a January cutoff in terms of looking at grades there in comparison to if we were to input in the third 9 weeks, which ended on Friday, to look at that variation of what that is.
Why wouldn't you use the last time?
Potentially, we have some problems with missing assignments. So we have students who were involved in UI activities that did not submit grades Thursday and Friday, or they were sick. We go Friday. And typically what we do is that even though the grade cutoff is, let's say, Friday, we typically give several grace period for kids to turn in if there was excused absences for some kind. Typically for UI activities that were out for choir, concert, practice, or really concert, baseball tournaments, things of that nature that's out there, we give that grace. Right now, our counselors are going through and literally going by kid, looking at those things to make sure that we're in good shape before we come to you.
You'll be able to look though at the end of January versus the end of this last 9-week cycle to see what.
That's correct.
What may have caused certain students to shift in and out of.
That's correct.
Salutatorian.
That's correct.
Because I think that's become very important if
Very.
there is very much movement.
Very. And currently, our initial analysis shows some movement.
That would be the concern.
It is a concern. I will tell you right now, though, whether you do it January or you do it then, there is no good answer. You're going to make somebody upset.
I understand. So I think my concern and how we would have to respond to those students, parents, whatever, affected by it. Of course, they don't get updated where they stand, but once or twice a year.
Well, no, they got updated last time in January already, so they know what that rank is. That's correct.
Okay. I want to make sure that we've really looked at this from every angle, because we know what that will look like for those folks. That this really, it matters for everybody, but for those that it could put them in a different quadrant, that's very important. And then you're basically saying that, well, we're just kind of discounting that last 9 weeks worth of work. And I worry about what that looks like as well. But I understand these are difficult and troubling times. So if school resumes on April 24th, 7th.
7.
Well, do you have a plan yet on how that would, would you go ahead and then inclusively pick everything up that's been done through that last 9 weeks, and then whatever you do the final 4 or 5 weeks of school? Or are you still thinking of ending it? Because if you're ending it in January, I go, what's the incentive date?
Then we're done. Yeah.
Board members, I have no idea.
Well, you do.
I know. I will tell you that what this resolution is just to suspend the current board local policy. In terms of that decision, this resolution has no bearing on that situation. I will tell you that right now. But I will tell you there is a problem that I already addressed with the Commissioner of Education and the Governor's office. And here is the problem. Essentially, students who are in grade 7 all the way to junior year, because of the grading period, they don't have the last grading cycle. The issue of credit is a problem. And that's across the state of Texas. I've asked the governor's office and the TEA commissioners weighing on this situation to give us a direction. Do you give a half semester completion as a full credit for the entire year? If you don't do that, you have 8th graders who are taking Algebra 1. Their credits may not count. So that you got a whole bunch of kids from 7th grade up who are taking high school courses. That may not be the case. And if every school does it differently, it's going to create all sorts of, in my opinion, class rank, credit issues. I prefer the state to weigh in on this issue, to make it a pass-fail for the last grading cycle, that we only count what we got towards a grade GPA rank system, but that direction and that has not yet been discussed at some level, in my opinion. So it troubles me. This is probably the most troubling one of all the issues to resolve going down the road.
Well, we know we can't use current policy.
That's right.
So we have to do this.
But that current policy, man, if we don't use that in some sense, now it affects the junior class, sophomore, everybody.
But
Because remember, everybody's missing that last grade cycle.
So in theory, though, if you had all those missing assignments, you would still be needing to suspend, but you would then be able to use that last 9 weeks.
That's correct. So I've actually directed Rita Molina to not publish print report cards as of yet, based upon our calculation that we need to do before we actually print that out. Now, obviously, for a fourth grader, second grader, this does not matter. We're talking about maybe high school seniors as a basic matter.
Okay.
And please note, board members, I have a senior at home. She's not going to graduate, no problem. And
I agree with it. I agree with what you're doing. I'm challenging. I know the difficult hurdle you all face trying to iron this out. I assure you.
this is going to be extremely difficult, board members, and I'm going to tell you right now that this is a lose-lose proposition. I think you're going to have somebody upset, and so it is going to be a situation. Whichever we go, I think that we're going to have somebody upset.
That's why. Gotta have your reason.
You want to take this?
Mr. President,
Mr. Miller.
I move to approve the resolution of the local grading policies during the COVID-19 school closure.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Next is consider and possible approval of 2019-2020 academic calendar minutes waiver.
Board members, this is a waiver process that should have been done, but we're bringing it to you now, so I apologize for that. But this is a waiver process to make sure that the current calendar meets guidelines, whatever that means at this particular point. But we do need to officially adopt this. And Mr. President, the next item is for the 2021 academic calendar minutes waiver. Same deal, we're doing it earlier so that we don't bring that, we'll bring it to you in a timely manner.
Very good. Okay, board members, page 161 and then followed by 164.
I do have a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kim, so we're allowed to do up to 2,100 minutes per year for staff development, professional development. Are these minutes, have we applied for these in the past, or is this a?
We have applied these waivers in the past. Things have changed over the years because it used to be days versus minutes. So we used to apply for those. But it came to our understanding that the 2019-20 was not adopted. So we need to file this waiver to finish out this school year.
But we've been doing that on an annual basis.
That's correct.
Prior to this
Yes, sir.
year. Yes, sir. Mr. President,
Mr. Hennessy.
I move to approve the 2019-2020 academic calendar minutes waiver for submission to Texas Education Agency as presented.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Page 164.
Okay. Mr. President,
Mr. Miller.
I move to approve the 2020-2021 academic calendar minutes waiver for submission to Texas Education Agency as presented.
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Okay. Beginning at 7:01. Board of Trustees on March 20, I'm losing my mind. What is it, March 24th, beginning at 7:01, will convene in closed session pursuant to sections 551.071 through 551.082 of the Texas Government Code to discuss agenda items 7A through C. The Board of Trustees at 7:33 p.m. is out of closed session to reconvene in open session.
Mr. President,
Mr. Drastata.
move to approve the superintendent's personnel recommendations as presented in closed session.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor? Motion carries 7-0. Okay. That is it, right, for that?
Yep.
We don't have anything else. All right, the next board meeting will be,
Hold on.
next
hold
board
on.
meeting is
If you-
scheduled.
Jason,
Oh, no, we got to
table-
make the motion. Yeah, we're sorry about that.
You know what, I don't see it.
I didn't see it in there either. Just looking through.
okay, well, let me announce it to you. I know I sent the language. I don't know if it got to you. So all I need someone is to say is so moved and second once I say the motion, okay? You with me?
Yes.
The motion is required to reject the settlement demand by the pending grievance.
So moved.
Now I need to, okay? And a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion been made and second, all in favor? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Okay, now there being no further business, the next board meeting is scheduled for April the 30th. Board members, as we discussed earlier, though, we will be looking at potentially the week of Thursday of April 13th, 14th, or 15th in there.
April 14th, Tuesday, April
Is
14th.
that good with everybody?
Is that the Tuesday after Easter?
It is.
Yes.
April 14th.
14.
All right.
I don't think we'll-
Okay, board workshop, then we will schedule it for the 14th. Board meeting will be the April 30th. There being no further business, the meeting is adjourned at 7:35. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank you.